to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me today are Louis D'Souza and Anne-Marie Young. This is your Daily Dose of Happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. And we are also happy to just be here at all because we've been experiencing all kinds of little tiny glitches and thingies that don't quite seem to work properly. And we're just going to go ahead anyway and hope everything works out for the best. Because this is definitely not a show we want to miss because Kelly Collins is joining us today. She's going to tell everybody how she likes to get unstuck and how she likes to help everybody else get unstuck. And that's certainly something that many of us, except for Louis, who has everything figured out perfectly, but except for Louis, everybody else is trying to figure out how to get things unstuck. And so she's going to be perfect for this. I love ragging on Louis. I do. Because I mean, he's fabulous. I mean, and he's got so much of this stuff nailed down. So it's my way of saying, boy, I'm jealous of him. But anyway, Kelly, welcome to the program. How you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing great. And my dad's that way. He just picks on the ones he loves the most.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's all right. You know, I like that that comparison. That's a good comparison. So give us a little bit of autobiography of yourself. Tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are now.
Well, I am a Southern girl. I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, and my background is sales and marketing. From my first job was selling cell phones, believe it or not, back when they had the Motorola brick. And only a few of us were. That was my first job out of college. And I got married at 21, started having babies, had 3 daughters by the time I was 29. And we moved a lot for my husband's job. And so my kids are extremely well-traveled and love to travel. And that definitely, came through me. I'll go anywhere, anytime, pretty much. But I did healthcare marketing and all kinds of different things as far as marketing goes. And then I started a company with a partner, Susan. She was a journalist and I was in the business and marketing side. And we started a news company. We did a little hometown.
Uh-oh. See those technical glitches, they just decide to just insert themselves when they feel like it. And it looks like we're getting one inserted right now with Kelly. So we'll have to give Kelly a moment to reconnect and then she can finish her story. But, well, let's see. I haven't said hello to you guys yet. So Anne-Marie, anything new going on over there in the UK?
We've got sunshine today. That's good.
Okay. Yeah.
That brightens everybody's mood up after what feels like 4 years of rain.
It brightens my solar panels up too.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Okay.
Actually charged 100% today.
Well, that's cool. That's all right. Okay. I think we have Kelly back. So are you there, Kelly?
I am here. I don't know when I froze though. So
let's see. Where were you in your story? You had up until 29, you had your kids. You started to move, and then I think we kind of fell apart at that point.
Okay. Yeah, we eventually moved back to our hometown, and I started an online newspaper with a friend from church. And
oh no! Here we go. Oops. I think we have her back. He's back again. Hooray!
This is not the story
try once more, Kelly. See what you can do.
She's frozen again.
Oh no! See, this is when you really appreciate computers.
Technology is great until it's not, isn't it?
Yeah. This is where I like to remind myself that the only thing that is more amazing than technology that fails on you is that the technology works at all. That's how I find a way to appreciate it. Otherwise, I go crazy like everybody else. Oh, she's coming in on another channel. All right, let's see what we can do about this. All right, there she is. Hello. Are we having fun yet?
Totally. I'm cracking up in my hotel room in Baltimore.
Okay, well, that's cool. That's all right. So, but we've failed a couple times now to get through the story. Let's try once more, and if you don't strike out, then we'll be good.
the long story short is we built the business. My partner exited, and then I built it out to about 8 sites and sold it in 2018. And then I had to stay with that company for 3 years as part of the deal. And I retired in 21 and started traveling all over the world. And it was just a really great experience. And while I was traveling, I got the idea for this book.
Now all we need is an idea for a book on how to unstuck telecasts.
I was just thinking that.
Right? I mean, seriously.
How to unstick when you're stuck.
Oh my goodness. We're gonna have to do a special episode on that sometime. Oh, Louis, we aren't hearing
Louis,
you.
we can't hear you now.
We got more technical stuff going on.
Well, it helps if I unmute myself.
Oh yeah, well there is that. Okay, yeah.
The saying of the century. Louis, you're on mute.
Oh, God.
Okay, Kelly's back for the 5th time. Welcome back.
It must be on my end, apparently. Hotel.
Kelly, you need to go outside the hotel door, knock on every door around you, and tell everybody to stop watching movies.
Oh
or
my
other things. I
gosh.
don't know.
This is hilarious. Go outside and use my cellular. Maybe it would do better. Anyway, I wrote a
that
book.
one out.
Kelly, do you think it would work better if you turned your camera off? Would that help?
I don't know.
Because
Maybe.
I know sometimes that just helps with the bandwidth, or it could just be.
I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, if
We'll give
the
it a
voice
shot.
if the voice continues to work, then we know it worked.
Can you
So
hear
that's the
me?
main thing. We do. We hear
we
you
can
just
hear
fine.
you.
Okay.
We hate.
All right. Let's.
We'll go with this working theory for now and see how it goes. So, all right. So you had a business, you sold it, you were able to retire, which is really good. And then you decided to write a book that I guess is about becoming unstuck. And where did that idea come from?
I think she's frozen.
We found a way to freeze audio. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that was possible, but apparently it is.
So I take it my theory on taking the picture.
I think
off
I might
makes
be
no
back.
difference.
Oh,
We're
Can
back.
you hear?
Yeah.
me?
There you are. Okay.
Oh gosh. So sorry, guys. This is.
Well, we do call this our daily dose of happy, and we're getting lots of laughter. So this is a good thing. It's just a question of perspective on these things.
This is true. This is true. Unstuck. Yes. So the book is a series of interviews. It's a memoir, my memoir, but then I also interviewed 10 of my friends who gave me great advice and helped me get unstuck. But every chapter is an interview with one of them and then the advice that they gave me. And so I also asked them to share their story on how they got unstuck. And so it ends up being like almost like 11 mini memoirs. But
Okay.
but it just, that was definitely not the original working title.
Uh-oh. See, we're even doing cliffhangers here. We want to find out what the original working title is, and then she gets stuck again. Oh my goodness. This may end up being an interview we have to reschedule or something, just because the technology is not cooperating. Well, we'll give it one more try and see what happens. But that's the way it is sometimes around here. Sometimes our vibration gets so high. This is not crazy. I mean, there are times when our vibration literally knocks out all of the electronics. It just can't keep up. And this is, I think it's what's happening here. Whatever's going on at Kelly's end, the technology is just saying, okay, I can't handle vibration that high. You know, go away for a day and come back.
Love that.
All right.
All
Can
right.
you hear me
We're-
now? I don't know if you can hear me.
We do
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can.
So we're going
Okay.
to try one more time. If this continues, maybe we'll just have to reschedule or something because, I mean, we can only handle so much humor at this point.
I know. I was just thinking, I wonder if they have a different setup here at the hotel. I could give it a shot, but since we're live, that would be awkward.
Oh, we have done all kinds of awkward things live, let me tell you. So this is not out of the ordinary in that sense. It's just, yeah, it's not quite what we planned. That's all. But okay, so you started this book and you had 10, 11 other people involved and had all these little memoirs within the memoir about, I guess they were all tied into this concept of unstuck. And then you said, but that's not what the title was originally about. And you left us with a great cliffhanger because we didn't find out, well, what was it about? So what was it about? And she freezes up again.
I know. I
Oops,
think
there
I'm
you are.
back.
There you are.
Froze up while you were framing your question. It froze on mine. Oh my gosh. Oh, funny.
Oh,
Yeah. So anyway, that the word stuck came up over and over and over again. They just kept saying it. And so that ended up creating the subtitle of The Power to Get Unstuck.
okay. What was the original concept behind the book?
The original title was Swiping Right After 50. And it was just going to be about, kind of, I wanted to do the interview thing, but it would just be single women who were dating. But it really turned out to be much more about what we all go through leading up to dating and maybe what we all need to work on before we start dating. And so it was, I think if you're stuck and you're dating, then you're not necessarily like the best person who's, you're not that dateable.
This is true. Yeah, that does kind of cause a problem. Yeah. And I'm well aware of that personally, just because I got divorced a few months back. And so I'm now entering the dating world for the first time in 24 years. So yeah. So okay. That was the impetus behind it. But the whole unstuckness came in. Now, do you have, but like your contributors and yourself, do you guys aim at like a particular form of unstickiness? I mean, is there like is there a particular theme going on besides the unstuckness, or is it just kind of being stuck in general?
Well, it evolved into really topics like a self-love mantra, having a vision for your life, anger, forgiveness. Each story just kind of evolved into a topic that we all really have to address. If you're constantly angry, then you're not a happy person. And, you want to be happy. And if you're angry, you probably don't have a lot of self-love. And so that all ties in. And if you're angry, you probably have somebody you need to forgive, even if that's yourself. And so it really just kind of evolved into this, what I call them empowerment practices. So in addition to the piece of advice and the interviews, you also have an empowerment practice in each of the chapters that helps you kind of walk through whatever that problem is.
Okay. Can you give us a flavor?
I'm in chapter 1. I meet Kiki from Sweden, and she just happens to be a psychotherapist, and I'm walking on the trail with her. We meet and we start talking, and she asked me if I've ever done a vision board, and I said no, and I kind of rolled my eyes. I didn't think that was something I wanted to do.
One of those
and
things.
And here I am in Spain with a 20-pound backpack on, and I'm like, I don't happen to have a poster board or a cork board in my backpack, so I guess I'll do that when I get home. And we're joking, and she says, pull out your phone and open your notes app. And she doesn't let me off the hook. So she makes me start thinking through a vision for myself. And it just started with a list of words. And so that's what I say in the book. Like, this doesn't have to be something complicated. You don't have to have a bunch of magazines. You don't have to get on the internet and print out a bunch of pictures. Just start with a list of words, things that make you happy, things you want to do with your children, things you want to go do by yourself. Some people want to go do yoga teacher training, or they want to go hike the Camino, or they just want to go to a spa for a weekend, whatever that is, but just a list of things that makes you happy. And then your vision starts spinning off of that. And so, it was just, she really could have just let me be a smart aleck and joke it off, but she didn't.
Uh-oh. You heard that, guys, didn't you? That little blip there at the end?
Yeah, I had that.
Yeah. We'll give it a second to see if it reconnects. This is kind of upsetting a little bit because I could tell we got a good story here. We're not getting the story. We're getting it little
I
tiny
really want to
pieces.
hear it.
Yeah. This is like, the TV
Wondering
series.
if she can turn to cellular network. So it sounds like she doesn't have much reception in her room.
Probably not inside the room. She'd probably have to go outside for something like that, because most hotel rooms have, if you're not on their Wi-Fi, it's kind of dead. And I don't mean, I just mean like there's no signal. Yeah. Oh dear. I'm afraid that that's not working very well. All right. Well, she's going to try to reconnect it. Yep, here she comes. And there she is again. Hello.
What a bummer. I'm so sorry. This is crazy.
Hey, you can only do what you can do. It's outside of your control. So, I'm thinking I'm thinking maybe we need to reschedule, just to bring you in another time to tell your story. Because I mean, Anne-Marie and I were both agreeing this is a story we want to hear, and it's like, wait a minute, you can't just stop there. Tell us the next part of the story, and then wait 30 seconds for you to be able to reconnect.
Oh, she's frozen again.
Where'd she go? This is definitely a theme. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, lacking any better ideas, I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with, we're going to get Kelly back another time, and we'll try to make it out on Monday so that we can, so Anne-Marie, you can hear the rest of the story too, and Louis, and we'll just, we'll just roll with the punches here. So in the meantime, we have a great shot of Kelly on screen laughing right now. I mean, that's
actually
great.
She's got her head back. Oh, here she comes, coming in with another connection.
Okay.
All right. I think what we're going to do, Kelly, is we're going to say let's bring you back another time, because I mean this is just not, it's not doing your story any good service. So let's schedule you to come back on a Monday so that Anne-Marie and Louis can hear this, and we'll just do it again. We'll try again sometime. That's all.
That would be great. Yeah.
All right.
Too bad.
Well, thank you for trying this time.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay,
nice
Kelly,
to meet
thank
you.
you. Take care.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye. So, all right. Well, guys, then this has become open-ended. We get to decide where we're going to go with today's show.
I just love the fact that it's her book's like coming unstuck. We just got stuck. Completely stuck.
I mean, it's definitely an LOA thing, right? You keep talking about being stuck, and yep, there we are.
Yeah, I was in the sauna yesterday talking about when you say no to something, you're saying yes to something you don't want. And boy, was I getting arguments left, right, and center.
Just refer them to this episode.
No, that's
That'll
not
be
how
perfect.
it works. I said, oh. So to them, when you focus on what you don't want, it helps expand you to what you do want. So cancer's what you don't want. What do you want? Not cancer. I said, well, what do you want? What does not cancer look like? And they said, health. I said, great.
Oh,
so
good.
are you focusing on health, or are you focusing on not cancer? And so the discussion continued. But you know that the new sauna with the naturist guys, they're not pushovers. They got strong thoughts and beliefs and ideas. They're very, very different people to the last public David Lloyd health club. Yeah, very different people.
I'm curious though, what directions do they take the discussion into, since they clearly weren't really happy with what you were saying?
Well, they started getting stuck with all different things. So I had to go down rabbit holes. And of course, the time in the sauna never allows too much, because people get too hot and have to leave. And that's what I like about it, actually. I'm getting too bored with somebody, I can just leave. That's a good excuse. But it also gives them a good excuse. They get bored with me just to walk out. So it's cool.
True. Fair is fair, right?
Fair is fair, yeah. So, yeah, but afterwards I had some really good discussions individually. One guy was having me stay there forever, and his wife was saying, come on, let's go. I said, no, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I was like going into it. You know, I started to talk about AI and, chat GBT and how incredibly powerful it is. And, you know, if your kids are being taught anything that Google can answer, or
yeah, that'll win you a lot of friends, that one. Yeah.
Exactly. And he was really curious about that. You know, he started to see the kind of logic of the whole thing. And he was like, yeah, well, what do we teach our kids? So that's a good question.
Yeah.
So will the robot be able to do art better than me? Probably. So what are you left with? So how to get them to do things for you, and which way to approach it, or how to interact with them, how to I don't know. I mean, I suppose there'll be sex machines as well. That'll probably spearhead the whole movement.
Probably.
Probably will. That's where all the money will go in. It's
But
like
can it cook a roast dinner, Louis?
Sorry?
What's that?
Can it cook a roast dinner on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Thing.
I'm looking forward to those days. My wife can sit and we'll be around the table, and the robot comes and bring us our roast dinner, and I just like the idea. Washes up the dishes, puts them away. I like the idea. Makes my bed in the morning. Gives me a lot of freedom to focus on my philosophizing and my ideas and the structure and the universe. And it's cool, man. Elon Musk. That thing I sent you about Elon Musk. I like your comment, Emery.
That was hilarious. It was literally like listening to you from another form. It was crazy.
We are still live, so tell listeners exactly what it is that you sent, because they know what you sent.
Oh, well, Elon Musk was being asked, about why he believes what he believes and all the rest of it, and he was saying, well, it goes down to when I can't remember his age. He's 18 or something, when he had an existential crisis, and he was saying, I really had to find out who I was and where I was going, what I believed. And then he read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and then The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy points to the idea that what the answer is to life, the universe, and everything is a crazy question, because the answer is 42. But but the important thing is what's the correct question to ask. And of course, they built planet Earth with the humans to start answering that question. But he got it wrong, by the way. He made out that planet Earth was the first computer. It wasn't.
That's true. Yeah, I noticed
the first
that.
computer was a computer, as we know it today, and the second computer was planet Earth.
Yes.
So the more advanced one was us, trying to work out what the good question is for life, the universe, and everything. But he brought out a good point, which I probably didn't see as clearly as he did. And he said it's more important to look at the questions. And to ask the right questions. And I didn't pick that up as clearly as he did. I got it. It's all very clear in the book. But he definitely seemed to have got a lot of clarity out of that aspect.
Well, part of that is because of the way Douglas Adams wrote the book. I mean, for instance, in the book, when they create the first computer to come up with the ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything, and they pose it to this computer that's going to design the whole thing, so to speak, the computer's response is tricky. That's the whole thing. That's the whole analysis of how important this question is. So Adams is making light of the question is really what it comes down to, and that's why we kind of easily skip over it.
This is what Elon Musk said. He said that it's actually a very philosophical, existential book written with humor. And I really got that intrinsically, but he put it intellectually for me, and I never really saw it with that level of looking at it. I really felt it because I was such a serious kid. I wanted to know what life, the universe, everything. When I read this book, a Vogon construction fleet hung in the air like a brick wooden, and I was laughing in the car with my parents, absolutely in tears of laughter. And they was like, "What's so funny?" Well, the Vogon construction fleet hung in the air like a brick wooden. Huh? My parents were like, "What's this guy on?" But I was absolutely hosing myself because it took all the things that I took desperately seriously and made them into something humorous. And that book, from that perspective, was an absolute lifesaver for me. Changed my whole life. It took my incredible intenseness and just blew it to pieces on so many directions. And I was like freed because of the incredible humor that was brought into such an incredible book. But a lot of people don't see that book like that at all.
No, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
It's true. That's why he has so many fans. And I have to say,
Yeah.
I now have this eternal image in my mind. Well, sort of more of a scene than an image, but of you and your parents in the car, and their faces as they're sitting. I imagine you in the back seat, they're in the front seats, and there's this quizzical look on their faces, and you in the back seat, you're kind of rolling over,
Exactly.
as you're laughing. And this is the perpetual scene that I see in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole idea that he puts a babelfish in his ear so he can listen to Vogon poetry because it translates for him, and it's just such crazy crap. Babelfish in the ear. I mean, come on.
Actually, that wasn't to me. That wasn't the craziest part. The craziest part was that he would actually want to listen to the Vogon poetry.
Exactly, especially with the worst poetry in the universe.
Well, it was the second worst, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the worst
was. Adams, it probably was the second worst.
It was. I think the worst one was a reference to some actual Earth poet, and I can't remember who it was, or perhaps a philosopher. Right. I'm not sure which.
That sounds about right.
That's about what his speed was. Yeah.
But what was the other thing Elon brought up that I just remembered? Yeah, I don't know. Got a bit lost now, but there were a few things in that.
Well, that was the main
just
part.
So similar to me. That was just like spot on. He wants to save the planet. He likes the idea of more people on the planet. He knows the planet can handle more. I've said all these things time and again on the show in some shape or form. And he just it's really interesting. He's born in South Africa as well, and all the rest of it. But it's just really interesting. I never thought I would be hearing Elon Musk sprouting what I've been saying.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything I would put past Elon Musk, to be perfectly honest. I mean, he really does. He doesn't have a whole lot of fear about what he comments on or focuses on.
Exactly. You can see by his posture, the way he speaks, and all the rest of it, the casualness of his clothing. He really is not interested. He's got such a vision, and he's so focused, and he's moving so clearly towards it that the rest doesn't matter. There's no pretentiousness, there's no nothing. And I really appreciate that about anybody who's achieved that kind of level of confidence and clarity.
Well, it's also kind of a challenge too, because it means that he has learned not only how to do that, but how to do that in a very public eye. I mean, all he has to do is utter one thing that's even slightly controversial, and he's hammered by millions.
Not that he cares a continental.
Not really.
I was the richest man in the world. Now I'm not. Who cares? Oh, tomorrow I'm the richest man again in the world. Oh, who cares?
I mean, that could be right out of the Douglas Adams book. It really could.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
You have to appreciate the guy. If you love or hate him, you just have to have some respect for him. You have to.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I could do what he does. Because I mean, he's not afraid to put himself out there on stuff that's controversial, and sometimes many of us roll our eyes like, "What? You're doing this again?" And he gets hammered for it every time, and he just I don't know, he just he almost seems to like it. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying that he likes getting beaten up or anything like that, but it's like he likes stirring the pot.
I mean, I want to see a conversation between Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk, and I want to see a conversation between Jordan Peterson and Sadhguru. I want to see those two.
Why Jordan Peterson?
I just think he's incredible. He's got an incredible mind. He really has clarity that I haven't seen in many people for a while. And he has a completely different clarity for somebody like Sadhguru. Sadhguru is really clear about the almost existential, the non-physical clarity that he can bring into the physical. But Jordan Peterson's very much ingrained in the intellectual, what we would call real world, university professor, psychology, the whole thing. And he's one of the first psychologists. You know how much I hate psychology. One of the first psychologists I'd actually be able to listen to ever in my life. First one, number one.
Okay.
Jordan Peterson.
Okay. Well, that is saying something, I have to acknowledge, because you usually don't have a whole lot of nice things to say about psychology. So it's nice to hear
Nope.
that for a change.
But he looks at it from such a different perspective than I've seen anybody else really talking to or from, and the clarity of his
Thanks, I've not
mind.
heard of him.
Jordan Peterson. Oh yeah. So at the moment, Canada is trying to de-professor him and
Oh, really?
wrap him on the knuckles and all the rest of it. And he's made this entire thing that they've done, every point that they brought up that he said in public, because he's very outspoken, perceived to be outspoken, but nothing he said can be deemed as anything really. He says all these years he's put anything out there. If you break everything down, he said in context, nothing can be say he's this, that, or the other. You can't. It's just clear because of the way he's put everything. He's very clear about how he puts everything out on, and he took everything that they said to him and he's put it in public. He had an hour's talk with his daughter Michaela in I think she's in Miami or Florida, and they have this conversation where he breaks down everything. He tells how it's making him feel. He could just give up his professorate because he's so famous and popular. He puts a video up, and within a day, he's got millions and millions of views.
It's true.
So he breaks everything down that they're attacking him with, and then what he does is he says, well, what they want to do is re-educate me. I mean, the guy is a master in his mind. Nobody's going to be able to re-educate this guy. He says, that's not going to work, is it? It's just not. It's just nobody going to be able to do anything to him. He's just too clear. He's written white papers. He's been a professor at Harvard for long periods of time. He's done everything. There's nothing much you can do to the guy. But he says, I spent so long getting it, I don't just want to wrap it over. I'm not going to get these woke guys. And he gives them really names, and these are very clear, specific names that he calls them. And you should listen to the way he puts it. Very clear, but he slams them to the wall. And he says, I'm not going to let these guys get away with it, and I'm going to make every step of the way completely public. Everything they do to me is going to go completely 100% public, and they're not going to get away with anything. And they're going to have to, absolutely show exactly what they're doing, not only to him, but to many other people who are not towing the line, who are thinking for themselves. They're slamming them to the post, getting rid of their degrees or wanting to re-educate them. So he wants to show everybody what these guys are actually doing and how they're doing it, so that nobody can get away. They can't really get away with it, that easily in the future, because he really has a huge following, massive following.
I on the one hand, I certainly can admire the fact that he wants to do that. On the other hand, there's that big question in my head, which is, why bother?
That's what his daughter said. Why bother? Just come to America and they'll accept you completely in the red states,
In the red states?
In the red states.
They'll actually
you a professorship, they'll give you anything.
Actually, not just America. I mean, you can actually go almost anywhere in the world. There are going to be a few places you're going to have trouble, but you can go almost anywhere in the world. But
he's taken a step further. He's starting his own university, and you know what he's doing. He's only getting passionate people to talk. Absolutely,
which is great.
Passionate people, and he's starting his own university.
Yeah, which is fabulous. I love that. But I still go back to my question, though. I still go back to my question, because I really am curious to know whether he directly answered his daughter's question, because his daughter's question is my question. Why bother do this?
He said, I've spent so many years trying to get these degrees, formulate them, and all the rest of it. Why should I just pack it up and give it up? And why should they not be exposed for what they're doing?
Okay, that explains the negative end of the stick. What's the positive end of the stick?
The positive end of the stick is he doesn't want it to happen to other people, from what I can perceive.
No, that's still negative end of the stick. It's like what you were saying to the guy about the cancer.
Well, it's not negative. Every subject's two subjects, and if you look at it from the point of view that it's saving these people's lives and profession.
So his goal is to save people's lives and professions. That's really what he's trying to accomplish.
Lives. Wouldn't say lives. They're not going to die if they remove their degree or whatever. But why are they doing that? That's the question, really. Why are they going to this degree to take down somebody who's got their own mind and is thinking their own thoughts? Why is the woke idea out there saying I'm right and you're wrong and you must believe what I believe? Why are they doing that? Why?
Okay.
They need to be exposed for what they're doing.
Okay.
So it's basically just for free speech, free opinion,
Yeah,
free
I mean,
thought.
humanity, born in every single one of us, is a credible desire to expand and to have freedom. Freedom and expansion kind of go together, but we want freedom. If you put me in a meter to meter box, I'd be happy for a little while, and then I'll say, no, I want something bigger. And you give me a 10 meter by 10 meter, and I'll be, yeah, I'm really happy with this. It's nice. And then after a while, no, I want something bigger, and so it goes on and on and on. It's built into man. I mean, there's this huge conspiracy theory out there that the World Economic Forum is, I mean, they've just destroying at the moment the Dutch farmland. They're saying you have to give it up, guys. Just go off it. We're going to take it over and we're going to build cities, and we're going to use it to make it go back into nature. And your cows are making too much pollution in the air, etc. I mean, if you understand soil, you understand that one of the best ways to get that pollution out of the soil is to improve the soil. To get it out of the air is to improve the soil, because it'll suck it back down in. And the cows are one of the best things to fertilize it and to improve the soil because of their poo and their wee, etc. And they're eating the grass. And so, I'm looking at it from my safe soil perspective as well. It's not true. So they've destroyed the most effective agricultural country in the world. It's a tiny one which they had to dig out the sea to get. And they're incredibly creative, and they all understand what's going on. And strangely enough, during this whole incredible riots and everything that they're doing there, the Melinda Bill Gates center burned to the ground because they're buying up land everywhere. And I mean, they got more land in America than anybody else. They've bought more land. They're going to turn it into wild animal things so nobody can live on it and everything can be free and all the rest of it. But then you're starving people because you're taking away farmland and food crisis. I don't know if you have a look at the moment what's going on in north of India is Pakistan. Mm-hmm. Pakistan, they're starving. And they're pulling truckloads of grain into the streets, and 8 people died on one trying to steal or get some grain off the truck. And then the government's run out of food, and then they've got such bad credit score they can't loan any money to get any more in. And so, and this is because of COVID, and then incredible floods. So the farmers have just completely, I mean, literally the floods was massive. I mean, it's just pools of water. So, again, there are something like 800 million people who are starving at the moment on planet Earth. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And then there's this whole triad between starvation, epidemic, and war. And the three go together. And the whole thing in Ukraine. Now, Ukraine is, guess what? One of the best soils on the planet, if not the best soil on the planet.
Very arable.
So
yeah.
It's so crucial. Now you've destroyed them getting all the grain out of Ukraine. So the world's starving. Because, I mean, Pakistan used to get grain from Ukraine. Now they're going to have to ship it from Australia or somewhere much, much further, America, and it's a much longer route to try and get to them, much, much longer. And then there's the time that it takes to get them, the amount it's going to cost them. The food's just going up and up and up, even in our country, in your country, everybody. So it's really interesting how much is going on out there, and the whole. There's this group of guys who think they have the solution, and one of the solutions is to make everything natural and grow and take over all the land. In the process to do that, people are going to starve and die. And they say, well, if we have to kill a few, it doesn't matter. At least we save humanity. And that's the kind of argument that goes out there. And I just think that kind of attitude is horrendous. But, that's how it's perceived out there at the moment. There is this whole thing about this whole dynamic going on in many countries all over the place. I think Bill Gates owns more land in America than anybody else.
That could be. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't.
And he's
rule it out.
buying up land like nothing, all
Mhm.
over America, anywhere. I mean, in the Netherlands as well,
Mhm.
all over. So he's just buying up land. And why is he
Okay.
doing that? You've got to ask yourself.
Oh, I'm sure he has an agenda. I mean, there are lots of agendas.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt. Yeah. Part of the reason I put my hand into this hornet's nest, which apparently I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always good to know what you're doing, right? I like to be honest about what it is I'm doing. I put my hand in a hornet's nest. But no, part of the reason I put my hand into the hornet's nest is I like to remind myself, and I guess indirectly remind listeners and everybody else I'm talking with, that we get to control what experiences we have in our lives to a large degree by where we give our attention. And so whenever I hear myself or others giving a lot of energy to things that are going wrong, I immediately start thinking, okay, where do I want to give my attention instead?
I 100% agree with you. So the awareness of what's happening out there, you know me, I've hardly ever watched the news or gone there and all the rest of it, but I've started to get exposed to it. And the philosophy I have, which is exactly the same as yours, is I know that doesn't matter how bad it gets around me, I can create my own reality.
Right.
I'm completely comfortable with that, but I know that a lot of people have no idea what that is.
Mm-hmm.
They're clueless about it. So, you know,
well, yeah, it's one reason why we do a podcast. Absolutely.
Exactly. So you're really getting to the point of understanding, can you actually create your reality with all the stuff going on around you? I mean, I'm being affected. You know, all my mortgages are going up. My gas, electricity, everything's gone up. The food's going up. Travel.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying, by the way, just so listeners know. I'm laughing because my cat is rubbing up against the microphone, just so everybody knows.
So I'm also directly being affected, and so it's not like I'm sitting pretty and tight, and you know nothing's happening in my world. There are a lot more pressures that are on me now that haven't been there before. And I'm not the only one. I can see that all around me. But you know, it's important to know how you're going to deal with it all and how you're going to be focused and move forward with it. But I think it's really important to be aware what people's agendas are and how to navigate around them to your best ability.
Well, from my perspective, also there's something else too, and that is all of these situations that we encounter. You've been laying out quite a few of them here, but there are many of them. I mean, I think everybody listening could come up with their own list, and if we were to collate those lists together, we would have this massive list. But in all of those situations, I think there's one thing that is really cool, and that is every one of them becomes an opportunity to become stronger in terms of our own ability to create, of our own ability to become, you know, more powerful, conscious creators. And in the process, it's like what Abraham Hicks talks about. They talk about how the best way to help somebody else is to be good at it yourself, because the better you are at it yourself, the more you're going to be able to help others in their desire to accomplish the exact same thing. And so that's why anytime I hear any of these, I'm thinking, okay, how can I take this particular situation to leverage my ability to get stronger at this?
Now, you know, I know a lot of people who are looking at a lot of the stuff at the moment. My sister, for example, and brother, and different people around me. And you know, I say to them, I'm not particularly worried, and they say, why?
Yeah, that always gets an interesting conversation going.
I said, because I create my own reality, even in the midst of an absolute storm. I'm going to create what I'm going to create, and I'm going to stick to what I believe and where I'm focused and all the rest of it. But I'm really enjoying watching the drama go on outside at the moment because I have a very stable core. Yeah. If I didn't have a stable core, I might get thrown madly all over the place.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, very easily. So I'm really able to sit there and take in all these bits and pieces and like, wow, how incredible that they're doing that. You know, I can see the benefit what every side is doing. I can look at the both sides and
Isn't that
say,
interesting?
this is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's okay, you know. In the end of the day, I know that man has this incredible desire to be free. But the thing is, if everybody had a really decent salary on the planet, guess what? Once you reach a certain level of salary, you start thinking about protecting the planet.
Sure.
So if you want to protect the planet, make sure people increase their salaries, increase everybody's salaries.
Yeah.
And then you will have an amazing planet. Okay. But no, now you want to starve them to increase and improve the planet. And it's going to have completely the reverse effect, because when you're sitting on that base core level where you need food, shelter, and protection, like a home or something, then you've got people who will kill the person next to them to get to stay alive. So you're getting people that are definitely not going to think about the planet in any shape or form. They're thinking about their next meal.
Yeah.
And that makes a very vicious cycle.
Has for generations.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. Excuse me. The other thought that kind of goes along with that for me, in my mind, is this is going to sound like dark humor. I can't think of a better way to frame it than that. So it's going to just come out like dark humor. But I think about somebody who is promoting an idea that I know is going to achieve the kind of inverse result that you're talking about. And the thought that goes through my head is, well, good luck with that. I mean, that's the same thought every time.
That's exactly what I said to somebody yesterday. Good luck with that.
And it is kind of dark humor, but actually there's also some genuine intent behind the comment for me anyway. Because what I really mean is, yeah, to make fun of it in a sense, but also good luck with following that through to the end as soon as humanly possible. Because I would love to see that reach its culmination so that it can be done.
But nothing's ever done. There's a next chapter and a next chapter and a next chapter and a next chapter.
You're right. Nothing is ever done. I need to find a different way to express what it is I'm trying to express. I'm using the word culmination because that's the word that it gets used to describe the Ukraine war. You made reference to the Ukraine war, and it's used to describe when a particular situation plays itself out as far as it can go in that particular segment of time. That's what I mean by done, not permanently done, not permanently resolved or anything like that. I mean that. That's the way stories work. That's the way dramas work. You made reference to drama. Dramas, it's a very straightforward process. You have a situation, you have a counter situation that goes against that. You have a crisis and you have a resolution. That's drama. That's the way drama works. And that has ends continuously. This drama ends and the next follows up after that. But that drama did actually end for that particular moment. That episode stopped at that point in time. And that's what I look for. I look for how quickly can that episode end? That's why I want to encourage them. Good luck with that. Because I want them to see how it plays out. I know that the sooner they see how well it plays out or how poorly it plays out, the sooner they're going to get the opportunity to take a moment and say, well, let's see, is that really the result I wanted? Am I getting the results that I was hoping for? I apply this, for instance, to, I have a lot of guests lately on talking about healthcare over the last, not healthcare, but the world of medicine and health and so forth. And I'm often touching pretty strongly on the idea that the mainstream medical community kind of drags its feet and moves slowly. And I keep looking for ways to say, yeah, okay, you're getting that. What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? That becomes the basis for a lot of my interviews. Just asking people, what is the next step?
What's exciting about the health scene is I'm going to be talking to Rotary about health, which I'm quite excited about. But one of the things I've bought recently is a hydrogen machine.
You got one? Really?
You got one.
Oh, have you actually received
yours, by the way?
Oh, okay.
But I bought it from America, from a reputable company.
Okay.
I actually had it shipped out because I didn't want to get one of the China knockoffs. So,
So
But I've already had some.
this wasn't one of the ones by that Japanese company that I bought from then.
Oh, you bought it from a Japanese firm? No, no.
Well, it's a Japanese company that is based partly in the
America.
US, but it was
Okay.
originally based on Japanese technology.
Yeah, I think all hydrogen water is based on Japanese technology because
Well,
they really are the
ultimately, yeah.
pioneers.
Yeah, that's true.
But I just wanted a company that I could feel trusted because there's not a lot of machines out there. I mean, you can buy a Japanese machine on Amazon, UK, but it's Chinese knockoff. There's no backup. There's no support. What happens when something breaks or doesn't work anymore? Where do you go? You've got like no ties to anything, which is really not my idea of fun, but at least it's they give you a year warranty in this American machine and it's tested, and I watched a lot of stuff, etc. But the feelings I'm really getting is a tingling up in my whole chest area.
Really?
It's affecting my lower back when I sneeze.
Now, how long have you been using the machine?
It's helped my digestion a week.
A week?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the date? A week and week. Yeah, it's pretty much 7 days.
Okay.
I've noticed my digestion is improved. I've noticed my sleep has improved. No, my sleep was terrible, but it's just really deep and good now. In a way that it wasn't before. Just things I'm starting to perceive because I'm really aware of my body. What's the other things that it's done? There was certain areas in my stomach that were a little bit sensitive. It's pretty much all gone now.
Nice.
Urination is slightly better. Not that it was bad. It just seems to be a little bit easier in some shape or form, which is really nice. It's not a biggie, but it's really nice.
Well, you're describing a number of different ways that when you reduce inflammation, you get little tweaks, and you're describing what some of these tweaks are.
Did you notice a difference that quickly, Walt?
Say again?
Did you notice a difference that quickly?
No.
Subtle.
I asked him.
Subtle differences. The way I was looking at it was, can I objectively state that I've seen a significant, scientifically measurable change? And I couldn't. But if you asked me subjectively, I felt that there was something going on, but I couldn't tell you exactly what, other than I felt a little bit better, a little bit, like things were improving, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Yeah. That was about as far as I could go with it. Like Louis was saying, I really couldn't say, here's something that happened.
To me, I've been studying my body and the way it reacts for so long that to me, I can pick up things fairly quickly.
I kind of got that sense. Yeah,
just spot on. So the thing, Anne-Marie, you may not know about it, but it's very good at cleaning up the arteries.
Oh, right. Okay.
Very good at that. Also helping with weight loss. And it's very interesting how it does it. It's almost, they say hydrogen's almost intelligent about the way it goes about heating the body. It doesn't just slam in there like a brick, like radiation or whatever there, and just knock everything off the block. It says, oh, I think I should go here and do this. Which is really interesting. It's like, wow, how the hell does that work?
Yeah, right.
But it's almost like it knows what your body needs.
Exactly.
Which is what it needs now.
Which is really weird. I mean, you can buy one on Amazon for 80 quid and you can start using it, but it's a smallish one. I wanted one that was 1.5 liters at least, because I go through a lot of water,
Yeah.
We cook with, what's the word? I always struggle with the word where you steam water and you take off the drops and you turn it into distilled water.
Yes.
Okay, so I distill the water. I put it through all my processes, which you've heard about, and love and appreciation is written on everything. Like even my new distillers got it. The new hydrogen machines got it on. It's everywhere. It's on everything. Since on my fridge, it's that to me it's very important from my understanding and working with it for years and years and years. Is love and appreciation is one of the most powerful things that I've done out of the whole process, and it's one of the most woo-woo ones, although there's science behind it.
Another Japanese import too, because Dr. Emoto was also
exactly Emoto. Yeah. So yeah, it's to me, I'm very, very keen for the hydrogen. to work all its magic on me, because I'm going to be able to pick up different pieces, and I'll tell you what I perceive along the way, because I'm sure there'll be a gambit of other things that have popped out. But I do feel my stomach is happier. There seems to be less inflammation on some level in that, which I'm really happy about, because it's.
And for listeners who are curious, because I haven't talked about it in a long time, I was able to identify one thing scientifically. I think I told you about this, Louis. Back in November, I had a whole bunch of blood work done. And one of the results of those blood tests was the doctor telling me that I had among the lowest inflammation levels that she'd ever seen.
So what do they call that? Something marker, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a marker of some kind. I don't know the technical term for it.
I was looking for that term. I've been trying to get in my brain, but I suppose I can do a Google search in it. But the lowering that inflammation marker to nothing.
Yeah, if I remember right,
you told me before you were very high, isn't it?
Well, I don't know how high I was before, because I don't have a prior test result. But from what she was telling me, my marker, or whatever the label is for the thing, was the equivalent of somebody in his late 20s, and I'm in my 60s. So I felt pretty good about that.
Has it not improved your eyesight as well, Paul? Did you mention that before? Or could potentially be?
It's potentially. And the reason I say that is I had been doing all this work for years to clear that macular degeneration that I've been dealing with. And at my last eye appointment, which was about a month before I got the machine, they told me that I didn't have macular degeneration. And so I achieved my goal, which was fabulous. But I also, one of the ways I justified to myself, because I bought the really expensive machine, one of the ways I justified that expense was I want to protect the eyesight that I have. And, it's not just about getting rid of the macular degeneration. It's about promoting the eye health. And anything that's going to bring inflammation down is definitely going to help eye health, because as far as I can see, my goodness, most of the eye conditions and diseases and so forth have some degree of inflammation in them. So I figure it's one of the best things I can do for myself. So even if I don't have a scientific study that shows, yes, Walt actually healed macular degeneration with hydrogen, I don't care. I'm going to take it anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm really keen to work with this machine over the next, whatever time. But now the whole family is using that as well.
Cool.
I had that little swirly thing, but this hydrogen machine also swirls it.
Oh, does it?
And it swirls it faster and better than the old machine ever did.
Really?
And it really aerates it. It's like, when you're looking in a river and you see those swirls.
Right.
Where it sucks the air down and everything gets aerated. And of course, you've got the waterfalls in the river, etc. So there's a lot of aeration naturally in the rivers. I was looking at the rivers as kind of how my water should look. Rivers, clean rivers, have mineral deposits in the water because it's come down the river. It's aerated because of the waterfalls. It's just natural, gets sunlight as well on it. So, I'm just kind of looking at what nature knows how things are supposed to be done. And I'm always looking at, how nature does it and then how I should do it. There was a guy I was watching on YouTube. He's incredible. He has a very interesting philosophy on health. Gosh, how much time we got?
About a minute and a half, but that's right.
We'll I thought so. I think maybe it's probably best to bring it into another episode. But he just takes, just to give you a little bit of a bite, he says most people, when they give him certain symptoms, he'll tell you what mineral and vitamin you're missing. And he'll do 600 pounds worth of blood tests, and he'll tell you exactly what it is. He puts you in a regime, and he's had tremendous amount of famous people, etc., completely turn their lives around. Very, very public, and he's a very high profile. He's very confident, and he's very knowledgeable. And he was an life insurance salesman. And it's incredible how many stats they can tell you exactly. You're this age and you've got this and this, you'll die then. Wow. They know exactly, and they're incredibly accurate. And you're saying, like 20 banks have gone down because of this recession and all the rest of it, but no life insurance companies have gone down. but he just brings up some interesting statistics when it comes to that whole world that he was playing in along the way.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, he really has a lot of knowledge, and he really nails it. And I can feel when people are saying things, if it's really valid or not. His angle is very, very different to mine, but he has an interesting angle, which I appreciate.
I don't know if you guys knew, I had a guest on within the last couple of weeks. I can't even remember his name, but he was a really interesting guest. And among other things, he was telling us about how his associates, who are scientific associates, can do hair analysis. And so I'm actually going to pursue that and have hair analysis done to find out what the current state of my body is from that particular medical perspective. It's the kind of test that gets done more by a holistic type practitioner than a traditional MD. But I'm curious. I mean, I didn't even know that that the holistics were doing something that was more along the lines of a true scientific study test, where you put something under a microscope and find out what it's showing you. That alone made me curious to find out. So anyway, that's my long-winded way of saying I'll let everybody know what the results are once I find out what those results
that'll be cool.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up very quickly about hair. I was in Rotary the other day, and I was looking around all the Rotarians. I was saying, wow, I'm the only guy with a little bit of black hair here. So wondering if they can tell me why I've still got black hair.
We could probably do a show on that one too, actually, now that I think about it.
Wonder why
the only one on this podcast with some black hair. This is just fake. Mine's the same results.
You know what they say, fake it until you make it.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I can see the lack of belief in your eyes there.
No, I honestly do believe. I mean, I have to honestly say that because of how well I've been indoctrinated by our society, I'm like everybody else. I believe that once you start getting old, everything's going to start falling apart. There's a piece of that I just can't totally shake just yet, but I'm working on it. I'm working on shifting that, because everything we've talked about for years here on the show tells me
use it or lose it.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I'm this is like me going to the gym. This is the muscles that I'm trying to build up. This the muscle belief that in the face of incredible odds, somehow I can make my hair actually darken by being more youthful and more healthy and whatever. I don't even know what
you do. You got to buff your fingernails like that.
I don't remember the buffing the few. I did. I don't remember that one.
No, you don't. There's a whole clinic in America that teaches you to buff your nails. They get you in there and they get you to buff your nails every day and do a few other things, and your hair goes black and they send you off.
Wow.
Okay. Well, this whole show today has been kind of wacky. That's a great wacky way to just kind of finish it.
If you think of reflexology, the tips of your fingers are your head.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't think we've left the realm of wacky, but I'm okay with that. That's fine. No, seriously, this has been like the craziest episode because we couldn't actually finish everything we were talking about with Kelly, and we'll bring her back another time, and all these crazy electronic things going on. But in the end, it still ended up being a fun, interesting, informative exploration. That's ultimately what we're looking for. So thanks, guys, very much. I appreciate that. And thank you to podcast listeners everywhere. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Take care.